Alright, this is going to be an attempt at a honing video. This is not something I've done before, so it will not be, pardon the pun, polished. I will probably screw things up and it will just move forward as is anyway. This is coming about because Frankenstein in a thread on the honing section of SRP tried doing a one stone honing with the Suehiro Gokumyo 20k, which is normally used as a finishing stone, obviously. But like the Japanese hones, using different grits or slurries on a finer hone, you can get faster cutting. So he used simply the cleaning stone that comes with the 20k. It also comes with the 10k and 15k. The blue side is 1k, the beige side is 3k. He got good results with the beige, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to create a slurry, and that, like I said, this is not normally the purpose of this clean rubbing stone. It's to clean the hone, but in this case we're going to use it to make a slurry. This razor, I pulled it out of my fixer-upper box. I was going to run it on the buffer first, and I decided to just take it as is. I did take out a couple of small frowns out of it on a 400k Atama. Other than that, there's been nothing done to it to set the bevel, so here we go. You notice fairly quickly it is cutting steel pretty quickly. Most likely I will run out of things to say before I get the bevel set, but it's fairly apparent that I am removing steel pretty quickly. I tried this last night with a few razors. I used the 3K and 1K side of the cleaning hone. Frankenstein said that he felt that the 1K was too gritty. I did not, but just to follow what he did, I'm just using the 3K rubbing stone for now. This has already done a pretty good job on the bevel. Obviously, it's not done yet. No, it's not. But it is cutting. So we do more. You can't see it here, but I am alternating the pressure between the heel and the toe. In some strokes I am putting more pressure, especially doing this approach, on the heel. And in others I can emphasize the toe. I, for the most part, will change that up within the stroke, or I'll do a few strokes emphasizing one and some emphasizing the other, or within the same stroke I'll change from the heel to the toe. If you focus on the heel and focus on the toe, the middle of the blade will take care of itself. If you focus on the middle, you're much more likely to get a frown. I'm going to clear this off and make fresh slurry. You want to occasionally turn the hone over to have a fresh honing surface and to make the wear on the hone more uniform. Using a bit less pressure here. And at some point I may do another video where I have a camera hooked up to the microscope, but this will have to do. Doesn't yet feel as sharp as I'd like it to be. Of course, the video one goes slower. Yeah, I've got a nice cut bevel, but I'm not close to reaching the edge yet. So I have more work to do, which means this video is going to take longer, which means odds are, heck with it. You can always fast forward on the video. I guess you might as well see what it takes in real time. Just because this is an alternative approach to using a 1K does not mean this is a miracle bevel setter. It does mean that it is a viable alternative, given how fast it is cutting. So I'm back to using higher pressure. Oh, when I looked under the scope, I should have mentioned this. The bevel was cut only about 2/3 of the way to the edge. Thus the unacceptable feeling of dullness on the thumb. I do not bother checking arm hairs because my arm hairs are too fine to be of any benefit to testing. You probably notice I rock the stone when I rub it. I remember reading that somewhere a long time ago with some kind of, it was either somebody writing up about Escher or something from, I think it was in an Escher box, like one of the printed boxes, like The Barber's Delight or something. One of them described the use of the rubbing stone, and it said to lift the edge. This is honing. Setting the bevel is, as has been said many times on the forum, 90% of the effort. If you don't have the bevels meeting, you don't have an edge. So all you're doing is polishing the faces of the bevels that don't meet. And it's their meeting at their apex that is the edge. I know that's a fairly obvious thing, but it seems to be a point that a lot of people fail to recognize. Okay, now I'm getting bite. So I may not be done, but I am definitely closer than I was. I have some build up there. A lot of times you can bring back the cutting capacity of the hone just with your fingers. I believe I'm quite close now. Welcome to the reality of bevel setting. It is now nicely biting into my thumb. And the reason for that is the bevel is almost fully done on this side, which is the push stroke, but it is farther away on the pull stroke. So I have to put in a bit more time. So I'm going to replace my tape. As the tape is worn, you are changing the angle of the blade and essentially lifting the edge away from the stone. So you want to make sure that the tape is refreshed, certainly before it's worn through and is cut into the steel. So back to it. As I said, this is not a miracle bevel setter. And obviously this would be even more difficult on a wedge. This is a full hollow, 5/8 full hollow, nothing special about it. The edge required a full bevel set. As I said, there were some small frowns in it. I do not count strokes. It's just sort of by ballpark feel. I guess I can't tolerate that level of precision. You have to go by what you feel and see as much as the counting. You can count all you want, but you keep going until the blade is done. Okay, don't want to waste that good slurry. Still not done. Very close, but not done. This is kind of a good thing. If I had done this bevel in just a few minutes, some hone sellers would be kind of upset. I don't think I'm going to make any major alterations to the honing landscape with a video such as this, given how long this is taking me. But again, bevel setting takes as long as it takes. This is the main downside of a long bevel set. You have to put up with a very boring attempt to have something to say. Given that I'm not going to show microscopic photos for this honing, I could easily just skip ahead and polish an unfinished bevel, and I could ooh and ah over the feel of the edge, and you wouldn't know any different, but that wouldn't make a realistic depiction. Actually, I am very close, but I'm going to bump up the grit, because at least one of us is getting bored. Now to me, I don't share the same opinion as Frankenstein. I didn't notice any particular increase in grittiness of the 1K slurry. From what I did last night, I can't say that I noticed any drastic increase in cutting capacity. It seems fairly apparent that it would cut faster. Yeah, alright, now it's starting to feel like it's biting a little bit more. But for a bevel setter, that 1K slurry I think is fine. It may end up being more problematic down the road as I dilute the slurry, but hopefully this stuff is friable, meaning it breaks down, the particles get smaller. And let's be impatient and look again. it's still not quite there. It's very close. Because it's so close, I want to get rid of that 1K slurry. Go back to the 3K, because the bevel is almost now fully set. So I don't want to alter the progression that Frankenstein described for going up the rest of the way with just doing dilutions. And I do believe this slurry is friable, because either it's the accumulation of the steel embedding in the hone, or the slurry breaking down. It does feel like it's cutting much better with fresh slurry. Yeah, it's getting closer. I know I've said that already, but again, nature of honing. I saw watched a video of a stand-up comedian recently talking about Hawaii time, which was, yeah, you get there when you get there. And going into the deep philosophy of bevel setting, you get there when you get there. And I'm there. So, for anybody who remembers the 1K pyramid that I proposed, it was highly forgettable. Once you have done your 1K bevel set and you're certain you have it, that's when it's time to set the bevel. Do a little bit more. Still using pressure, nowhere near as much. Okay, time to change the tape again. This is something that I don't think has been addressed enough on the forum. You can see I have worn the tape. I don't know how visible that is, but not very much. You definitely have to torque the blade so that the pressure is on the edge and the spine is only serving as a guide. It is detrimental to the whole process to be putting a lot of pressure on the spine. The spine should be a guide alone. You're not trying to wear steel, or in this case tape, on the spine. You want the pressure focused on, you want to make sure you have no bubbles in that tape. Bubble in the belly is fine, not on the spine. Okay. Okay, so I now have fresh tape, so I am reaching the edge now. So I can still use some pressure. I'll probably change the tape 2 or 3 more times before I'm done, but it's time to start diluting. And out of a desire to speed this up, I may not get the absolute perfection out of this blade. You've definitely seen how long the bevel set takes. I haven't figured out what the optimal rate of dilution for this is, but I'm going to do this fairly quickly. I have no idea how long this video has gone, or actually I don't even know if the camera is still recording. I should have kept a watch on my table here. I had said I'd probably change the tape 2 or 3 more times. I'm only going to change it 1 more time.